Welcome to the RIP 28 podcast. The RIP 28 podcast, this is a podcast where a few friends can get together and we can talk about a few things. Now, some of those things you might like, some of those things you might not like, but we're going to keep on talking about them here on the RIP 28 podcast. I am your host. I am Sly the Sports Guy. I'm joined by a few of my friends. We'll start off in the top left. The educator's educator. What's going on, LBZ?
What's up, man? It's Beezy the Great. The educator's educator. Just here to educate you or be educated on a few things. Let's get it.
Down in the bottom, on the bottom, we got the one and only Mr. AB. How you doing, Mr. Bennett?
What's up, fellas? I'm on 2 podcast streak right now, so I'm trying to keep this thing going. It's 2 weeks in a row.
Two in a row, back to back.
I'm making things happen now.
I hear you.
You awesome, Tom. You're awesome.
Well, today we're gonna bring on a special guest. We're gonna bring, we love the ladies, man. We like to have that ladies' opinion come on every once in a while. Every once in a while, we're good guys, man. We're gonna let them come out the kitchen. We're gonna let them vacuum and start cleaning up, and we're gonna let them speak for a little bit, So today we're gonna bring on a very special young lady, Columbia's own Miss Brittany Bonaparte. How you doing, Brittany?
Hello, how are y'all?
We're doing great. I'm so glad to have Brittany here. If you're wondering, what are her credentials for being on the show? Well, Brittany's a moving shaker in the world. She's a moving shaker high up in the education industry. She's gonna educate our educator every now and then. Does a little bit of real estate, making plenty of money. So if you ever need to borrow a couple of dollars, holla at Brittany. She got it.
Or if you ever want to buy and sell, I'll help you.
What y'all sipping on, man? What I figured today I was gonna try something new, man. I got this Jim Beam and apple juice. That different right there. It tastes pretty good.
Sound like a laxative.
Hey, it's over with. I'm gonna empty on out, man.
Hey, ain't no need holding nothing in, baby. You empty the clip, baby.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, but Sly,
What you got in there, Beezy?
I got me a little bit of Ciroc apple and Spritzite.
Keeping Puffy happy.
So I'm the only one that ain't got no chaser, just straight.
Yeah, you that original drunk.
Hey, man, I'm Martell. I'm on that Martell today, man. Martell Blue Swift.
Hey, Sly, they say don't drink and drive, and Tom been drinking and driving since middle school.
Hey. Hey, anybody can drive sober. It take a real driver to drive drunk.
Yeah, Tom is very experienced. If I'm gonna ride with somebody drunk, it's gonna be Anton.
Miss B, what you got over there? You sipping on something?
Bud Light Seltzer.
Bud Light Seltzer.
She sound like she Jawan's sister.
Right around the corner. No carbs, no sugar. Summer's winter.
Excuse me, be healthy, Miss Healthy. I'm sorry.
For our viewers and listeners, Brittany is from the rich side of Columbia. So that make a lot of sense. People out there in the suburbs, and so they do that out there in the suburbs where Brittany is from. So that makes the Bud Light Seltzer, man. Before we dive too deep, man, we want to let everybody know, everybody out there, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching, but you can check us out everywhere. We're on Amazon. I'm not Amazon. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Podbay, Anchor, Twitter, Facebook. Man, we on Pocket Cast. There's so much stuff. We're on anywhere you listen or watch your podcast. You can check us out. The RIP 28 podcast. You can check us out. And while you're checking us out, you might as well go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. Hit the like and subscribe. And I'm going to be honest. If you don't hit the like and subscribe, your mama probably raised you wrong. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Your mama probably raised you wrong if you don't like and subscribe our podcast.
Hey, Sly, you missed one of our social media sites.
What's that?
You can catch us on Fans Only too. We're starting it this week.
We starting the OnlyFans page, man. We said, hey, old girl making 150 a month.
Hey,
Hey, but you know what though? Check this out. I'm gonna do for you people not in tune to what the media, how media savvy we are. We're gonna transition out of that joke that LeBron led into our first topic. Out in California somewhere, it was a young lady, a married woman who has 2 kids who go to a private school, a private Catholic school. Well, the private Catholic school found out that the mom started an OnlyFans account. This OnlyFans account, she was making over $100,000 a month in the OnlyFans account. Then you got a couple of other moms, probably physically challenged moms, who got a little upset, and they went told. They started snitching, being tattletales, and the kids got kicked out of school. Now the mom has to go and find a new site for the kids. Man, what y'all think about this mess?
That's wrong. That's discrimination.
Long as she paying her own tuition, don't matter where it come
right?
from.
Don't matter where it come from. I don't care if it's sweaty and wet. Take your tuition. You stay at the school.
It's a very rigorous entrance whole setup to get into a school like that. They don't just dive into the academics. They also want to know all about the family. And so she wasn't speaking about her OnlyFans during her entrance exam or interview, then it's misleading. You can't be one person trying to get them in and then a completely different person once they're in. I mean, for me personally, I just found a new school for the kids, but just probably
ain't none of their business.
But what I'm saying is, if she making her money, how's that bad on the school? She's not affiliated with the school; it's the kids.
Well, let me ask you this: who found out about it? And how they found out?
And how did they find out? And why did they find out? Because they own there using everybody else that was paying that woman. You could have looked at. You can look at them fly like it's probably somebody that's shaped like a 5'8", 240-pound pulling guard, and they mad. Why are you mad, bro? Let that woman pay her tuition. It's hard out here for a pimp.
Let that way. And I'm from the point of view is, she's paying her tuition on time. You got somebody else going to that school whose father is a banker, who's a racist banker who's denying loans to black folk or denying loans to, they're in California, so denying loans to Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Or you got somebody who cheating on their wife, or you got somebody who cheating on you probably got some swinger clubs going on at the school. But this lady, she real with hers. She got hers on Front Street. She got it out there on OnlyFans so the whole world know what she's doing. So why kick her out when you won't kick out these other unscrupulous businessmen or whatever that you have their kids going to?
Well, for clarification, what's the content of her OnlyFans?
Well, her husband, the RIP 20, well, first of all, we like to say the RIP 28 podcast, we have a crack research staff. We don't just bring these topics up. We have a whole research staff that goes out and looks at these OnlyFans pages just to make sure everything's on the up and up, strictly for business. And so what's going on with her OnlyFans account? She has partial nudity. She's not all the way naked. A lot of her stuff is in lingerie and stuff like that. And her husband does some of the photographs. Now, what she also has, there's also a couple of other housewives from the area that are on her OnlyFans account. Her name is the Real Miss Poindexter. That's her name. And she has the schoolgirl outfit, like she's a school teacher or whatever. That's her hook. That's her hook. And so she doesn't actually have sex on the OnlyFans account, but she is scantily dressed.
Slide. That's happening in the schools every day when the parents were coming.
Every day.
I mean, literally, I'm in education, been in education since 03. And you're going to punish somebody for cashing in on something you allow everyday parents to come in with pajamas on. Parents come in with their pants sagging down by their knees. halter tops, but because she's cashing out, it's a problem.
Nah, it's because it's a private school.
I
There
was
you
gonna
go.
say public versus private. That's the biggest difference. Public, you
Yeah,
can
you
do
got
whatever you want.
private school moms right now that I know. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself that I know that do the same things, but it ain't my business. You know, I'm just here to report on what Slides brought up.
Yeah, it's that private. It's a private school thing, man. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get it, but as long as that tuition on time, I ain't
that's what
worried
I
about
said
that.
too.
But do you
Yeah.
believe that anything that the parents can gain access to, so can the students?
They better have their eyes ready
Yeah.
for it then.
Well,
So
you
maybe
know,
that's what they're trying to prevent.
hey, you have kids have discernment too. They know what's wrong. They know they shouldn't be on no fans only page. They know.
But here go the thing though. That's more of the parent being a good parent. If you're a good parent, you should be checking on your kid. You know, you can't control everything your kid. We all watch porn. Well, y'all watch porn. To me, I was a good mom. I was a good boy, mom. I ain't do that. But these guys growing up, and so even though I know both of y'all parents are good, great parents and everything like that, you can't control everything that your child does. So your child probably will be able to see some stuff that you don't want them to see. But for the most part, you should have these talks and these explanations with your kid to try to keep them, to let them know that this isn't real, this isn't the way that women should be treated, or this shit you see in porn ain't real.
Well, I got a thing though. What about the teacher? Like the teacher of the class sees that parent, only fan, and that teacher has that kid in their class. Say it's a male teacher. You think he gonna give him some A's for just to get a free account?
Hey, you never know.
Well, hey, since I am the educator's educator, I think I'm qualified to answer this question.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hop right in and say, yeah, there'd be a couple A's going in there. You ain't do your homework, that's fine, tell me. But get back to work. Yeah. All right, you good to
For
go.
me personally, I think that she should keep her OnlyFans and take her kids to public school and let that be that. Like, I don't think she should stop what she's doing. Her husband completely agrees, but the school completely disagrees. So she and her husband and family do whatever they need to do to pay their bills. Just find a new school. Simple.
I think bottom line, it comes down to you're paying your money to go to that school. So that school can make the decision because it is their school. It's not a public school, it's a private school. It's their school. No matter how good a parent you are or how bad a parent you are, you're still paying somebody else. And if they don't want your money, they don't have to take your money, because it's interesting. We're talking about good parenting, because it's good parenting on different levels, because you can look at whether or not she was a good parent, or you can look at our man Senator Ted Cruz and whether or not he was a good parent. He was a great parent because his kids were sad and depressed because they were sad and depressed because they were in Texas during this snowstorm, and his kids wanted to go to Mexico. So him being the great parent that he is, he said, "Fuck Texas, I'm going to Mexico with my kids." That's a great
Adios, amigos.
Great parent, Mr. Ted Cruz, man.
Hey, Sly. The politically correct me want to say, "Oh, that's messed up." But man, you gotta do what's best for your kids, man. You always gotta take care of your kids.
Question:
Make sure they taken care of.
Who pays his salary?
The OnlyFans.
So essentially, if he's going to carry a position like that and he's going to accept a salary from the people of Texas or, whatever, then why does he feel like it's okay for him to leave them? If they're paying your bills, why can you just leave them when it gets hard instead of being on the front lines trying to make it better? That's just my opinion.
Because there's plenty of people that when they get a better opportunity at a job, they leave. So he had a better opportunity. I ain't mad at the man. You let a flood come right now. Me and Messiah, we gonna pack our bags and we going with somewhere where it's safe. And y'all can for me when I get back, but right there we gonna be safe.
And that's why you're not called senator or congressman.
Exactly.
You are a teacher.
Well, I'm called coach.
Coach.
I'm a game of players too.
Hey,
gonna
the
be
coach.
up here.
Hey, they gonna be like shit. Season over with. Coach gone.
The hell with it. The hell with it. We don't care.
Here's my thing. You know, for me personally, it sounds good. It sounds great that you want the captain to go down with the ship. You know, that sounds great. That's great in TVs and that's great in movies. But this man is a senator. He doesn't work for the power company. He don't drive a truck. He can't climb a pole. He can't do. He physically can't do anything to get the power back on in Texas. Physically, he can't do anything. The only thing he can do is just sit there and say, "Hey, I'm there with you." So the only thing he can do is make phone calls. Hey, I need President Biden to declare this a national emergency. He got to make a phone call to do that. I need the governor to do this. He has to make a phone call to do that. Everything he can do, he has to make a phone call, and that's all he can do. So
hey, the thing is, he gotta be smarter on his getaway.
yeah,
He can't go to.
that's
Can't
it.
go to the damn airport.
Private. It's really
that's
like
stupid.
he didn't give a fuck and that he wanted the paparazzi to see him when he could have easily flown private. And
Right.
that would have been his business with his kids, and he could have made that phone call from the private jet. So the fact that he wanted the paparazzi to see him is what makes it kind of questionable.
But here's another thing that kind of threw off that whole public flying on the flying on Delta or whatever. He would have got away with all of this, but somebody from his own crew, one of his wife's friends, published the text messages between his wife and them and their group chat. One of his wife's friends published their group chat, and that's how they found out he was going to Mexico. Because truth be told, he's a senator. He's not walking around with a whole bunch of security and stuff like that. He could have easily went to that airport, got on the plane, and no one would have known about it if nobody leaked those text messages. That's be careful who you do your dirt with. Be careful.
That's right.
Yeah, know who in your circle.
His wife was speaking about what they were doing on a group text.
Yeah, on a group text. His wife. That's how the information got out. That's how the information got out. It wasn't like he went to the airport and an airport worker said, "Hey, that looked like Senator Ted Cruz." You guys from South Carolina right now, if y'all was to see y'all senator in the airport, would you recognize him?
To my Lindsay.
Would you recognize Lindsay?
Yeah, I see him with all
away.
that pink behind him, probably somewhere.
Yeah, he always looked drunk and he's petite. So yeah.
Yeah, look
We'll
like so
recognize his
soft. Yeah, him and Tim Scott.
Oh, Tim Scott, you'll see his gums.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna be real. I'm from Georgia. I wouldn't recognize. I voted for Warnock and I voted for the white guy. I wouldn't recognize either one of them.
You know Warnock.
I know Warnock. If I seen Warnock walking down the street, I wouldn't know him. I wouldn't know him. Now that I stopped getting all this stuff in the mail, I wouldn't know him. For the election, we got plenty of shit in the mail before the election. But after that, I truly, honestly wouldn't know. And I believe that I'm in tune with politics. I keep up with everything, with a lot of stuff that's going on. But I wouldn't know him if I saw him in public. So, so here's the thing. What do y'all think? Should he have stayed or should he have went? Or is it okay that he went?
I think he shouldn't have lied about it. He shouldn't have lied about it. When he got caught, he lied about it. That's the biggest thing. He said, "Yeah, I got caught."
They slide.
They kept their business to themselves. He should have never been talking about it on a group text, and he should have flown private.
Yeah. All I'm
gonna look at it is when the tough gets going, Ted Cruz is also gonna get going. That's how I would look at it, living in Texas. If it ever gets too tough for him, he's flying out.
He gonna fly the coop. I get you, but the only crime that he did was getting caught.
You're right.
It ain't a crime till you get caught. Once you get caught, now
he still wasn't a crime though.
No, it ain't a crime, but I'm just saying
he getting killed in the
relative
public
to what we're talking
opinion.
about. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get caught.
You
Don't get caught slipping.
Just don't do it.
Don't get caught slipping.
You know, it's interesting you bring up, you know, that public opinion, man, because a lot of times people's public opinion and their reputation kind of precedes them. And speaking of something like that, you know, a couple of days ago, Tiger Woods got into a car accident and he had to be actually rescued with the jaws of life, man. Firefighters had to go in there and cut him open and get him out. But when you say your reputation precedes them, a lot of people in the early going on, they was like, oh, was Tiger drunk? Was he on pill? Was it a DUI? You know, and not even caring about is this man okay? Will he walk again? Anything like that. Everybody was just kind of crushing down on Tiger because of his previous reputation, man. And that's kind of messed up, man.
That's today's society, though. Anytime when you make it to a high level, they want to see you fall. They're looking for that entertainment of seeing you fall. Tiger did it to himself with the the scandal that he had, and tried to build his way back up. That was a great story. Him fighting back to get back to a stature of almost Tiger, but still, society wants to see you fall.
But speaking of that, but it's really is more of a story when you do on your decline, when you slide down that ladder. It ain't fun watching Tiger and other people that's great ascend to where they're going. Once you get any scandal, when they said like Michael Jordan, when they thought that his gambling had got his daddy killed, that was a big story.
Right.
Not that Michael Jordan is great. They love scandal, and like you said, society is that way. They love scandal. That's why you got so many housewife movies, shows.
You're right.
They love scandal. But Sly, one thing is, I'm gonna take the blame for that because for Black History, right before Tiger crashed, I dressed up as Tiger for Black History at school, man. And a couple of days ago, hours, man, I get a call that Tiger hurt. And I said, damn, was it me? Is it my dad calling that fuck Tiger up? So, you know, I don't know. I'm going to consult with Tiger and his people and see what we can do, man. You know?
But you know, it's funny you talk about dressing up like Tiger a little bit, man. And I can really think back to when Tiger first started. You know, he first got that nationwide acclaim, and people started, learn who Tiger was. And as Black folk, what Tiger kind of did for us, you know what I'm saying? Because I guess before Tiger Woods, the only Black golfer was Calvin Peete, Calvin Diamond Peete. And this was during the 60s and the 70s when he golfed. But Tiger started a whole new renaissance, a whole new wave of Black golfers, man. And me, myself, I got out there and I learned the game. I learned the game by just because of Tiger, to be honest.
Hey, I got a story. I used to work when I was in college. This is back in 99. Yeah, 99. I used to go down to the Heritage, down in Hilton Head, Sea Pines. Worked on the Heritage Classic, PGA Tour Classic. Tiger Woods was down in 99. He couldn't come back no more because they couldn't hold his crowd.
Yes.
The crowd that comes with Tiger Woods, they couldn't hold it anymore. So Tiger Woods couldn't come to the Heritage Classic anymore. And I'm talking about, it was unbelievable, man. I made so much money down there. I was a pretty much a runner. I run from skybox to skybox, working and worked the yachts at the night on night parties, whatever. I made probably about $2,000 down there in 3 days.
Sure.
Straight up.
Hey,
Tiger couldn't even come back down there no more.
That's the opportunity that Tiger has opened up for so many, like you said, Black golfers. The opportunities that we may have never had hadn't Tiger come along with golf. I know a lot of kids Black kids, I wouldn't say a lot, but I know several Black kids that have gone on to earn scholarships in golf, which you never heard of. Back in the day, you either got baseball, football, or basketball or track. But Tiger and Venus and so many others open up so many other avenues for us, man, that, he's going to always be a legend, no matter, I know the scandal and the things, like you said, his being preceding him, but his reputation preceding him, but he's still gonna be a legend for just the doors he's opened for so many that we wouldn't have had, or it would have been even harder to have.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the timing of this car accident is a bit. It's a sad because Tiger's son is so skilled.
Right.
You know, he's starting to get a lot of coverage for his golf game, and I think watching his son play golf reminds you of why you fell in love with Tiger and like what Tiger was to the golf game, and you can kind of see it in his son. So I think that if Tiger would have kind of kept it clean and stayed on the right track, like no pun intended, and we watched the rise of his son, that probably could have trumped some of his scandals. But it's like right as his son's game is going up, we're reminded of Tiger and, you know, kind of the blemishes on his record when it could have gone in a different direction because his son is doing so well. And Tiger's obsessed with how well his son is doing. So
Charlie, get him, Charlie.
Yeah.
But and another thing, man, with that whole golf renaissance and everything that's going on, and I can think about how it directly affected me. Hootie and the Blowfish used to do this thing called Monday After the Masters, and they did that at Fort Jackson, and then they ended up moving it somewhere else. I forgot where they moved it to. But what
Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach, okay. Mm-hmm. And what Darius Rucker, I guess Hootie, you know, what he established or what he started was a youth golf program in Columbia. Now, I was well too old. I was in college by then. But my little sister picked it up, and she joined that youth golf program. And they used to have it over off of Broad River Road, and then they moved it to the city public links over there by Saks and Home.
Clyburns.
Yeah, Clyburn.
Yeah,
Clyburn.
By C.A. Johnson.
Yeah, by C.A. Johnson. Mm-hmm. And my little sister, she was the only girl out there doing it, and then she was the only black girl out there. She was the only black person out there doing it too. So, you know, I would drop her off for practice, and the instructor, I forget the instructor name, but it was an older black guy. And while I dropped her off, I would just go to the driving range and I'd just mess around and hit the ball. You know, I'm sitting up there hitting it like it's a baseball or something. And then the instructor, he said, "Hey, look, son," he said, "if you're going to be out here waiting on your sister, you ain't going to be out here making me and my people look bad, swinging stuff like that. So you need to come on over here with these little kids and learn how to hit too." And so that, you know, that was that's how I actually learned how to play the game. It became somewhat pretty decent at the golf game, man. And just a little direct roll off of Tiger Woods and the effect that he had on this golf. Yeah.
But check this out. How many business transactions have been made on the golf course?
Mm-hmm.
You think about, it went from the boardroom to the golf course. So just that diversity, man, having that diversity, whether like I'm a novice player, I'm not good. I go out there. Me and Anton went to the driving range one time and hit a few, but we get out there and play, but just that little bit we know may open up a business opportunity just because we know a little bit about the game.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, business opportunity. People helped me out. And I was one of the ones, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that people make business deals on the golf course. Well, I have my broadcasting company, and what ended up happening for me years ago, I was hanging out with, I won't say his name, but all y'all know my best friend. I can't say his name on the podcast because I don't want to mess up the church's money. But he told me, he said he was going to go and play golf with a guy who was a kind of high up in Coca-Cola. And we went out to this link and we were just talking. And the guy asked me, what do I do? And I said, well, I do a radio broadcast. I call these games. And he asked me how, how was it going? I said, it's going good, but I just kind of need sponsors. I was telling him, I have viewership, I have listenership, and I need sponsors. And he was like, okay, well, he's like, I don't know if you know, but I work for Coca-Cola in the marketing department. That's what I do. He said, give me a call on Monday. I gave him a call, and that was like my first big-time advertiser that I had. And it all happened because we were out there playing golf. And
exactly. Thanks to Tiger. It's
the Tiger. So I owe Tiger a little bit of money, or we can find You know, something to make them happy. I can find a fat white woman. You know, something.
Well, you know,
Oh.
Tiger's infidelities, you know, like the strip club and stuff. They made a lot of deals in strip clubs too.
Oh, hey, there you go. And I had.
Why take a dig at Tiger after all that good stuff? Y'all take a dig at Tiger.
Hey man,
We was talking about deals, man.
He is.
Tiger's a man, man. And here's the thing, man, about Tiger. Tiger was one of the most famous people on the face of the earth. And expecting somebody of his stature to be faithful, expecting somebody of his stature to be committed to one woman, it's not realistic. I mean, let's just be honest. It's not realistic for somebody that high up who has punani thrown at him everywhere he goes. It ain't realistic, man. It's hard for me.
Oh, God.
And I ain't Tiger.
Stop.
Why isn't it realistic? Like, what makes it so hard?
Stop. Let's end the show when he comparing his. Man, come on, man. Go ahead. Answer the question.
Let me break this down for you, Brittany. Let me break this down. You're a good-looking woman. You're a good-looking woman. And from the time you were probably 12 years old, time you first started growing titties and getting a little bit of booty, there have been some man constantly hitting on you. Constantly. Wherever it's been, you walking, somebody is saying, hey, how you doing? Somebody has offered to buy you a drink. Somebody has offered to do something for you strictly on the fact that you're a good-looking woman. All right? So you have had 30 plus years of rejecting guys. You have had 30 plus years of turning down advances. So you understand how to do it, and you're good at doing it. Now, as a man, there are very few men from the time they were 12 years old having women constantly hit on them, and they get used to turning down pussy. Tiger Woods was a geek. Tiger Woods was a golf nerd.
Oh.
He was a golf nerd, and he was catapulted into mega stardom, mega women throwing themselves at it. He was a geeky mixed kid who played golf coming up. Women wasn't throwing panties at Tiger coming up. It wasn't happening. But now he gets super, super famous, and he gets married to a Swedish nanny, who was a bad, his wife was fine. Don't get me wrong, she was fine. But now, like David Justice said one time, somebody said, how could you leave Holly Berry? David Justice said, well, I'm a Major League Baseball player. I see 5 or 6 Holly Berries every city I go to. So Tiger Woods, true, he has this fine woman at home, but everywhere he goes, he sees 10 other fine women who are just as bad. How often do you expect him to keep turning that pussy down?
Okay, is the risk worth the reward?
Nah, when she took half of his shit.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, it doesn't matter how bad the next bitch is the risk worth the reward? Like, I think men should know that by now. Most of the time, it's not.
Hey, but Tiger's gotten that money back in a little bit more, man. Tiger ain't missing that no more.
Not no more.
That's old. He ain't missing that no more. That's old money. Shit, Tiger, that's water under the bridge. Tiger's still damn near a billionaire.
So the risk was worth the reward, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he got enough money to cover it up. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying
if he had a prenup, yeah, the risk was worth the reward. If he had a prenup.
Oh, okay.
Well, if I ever make it and I get married, it's definitely gonna be a prenup. I ain't marrying you without no prenup.
See,
I want all my $100.
Hey, look,
when I was shooting in the gym.
Look here. Tiger had 500 million. Him losing 250 million, he's still good.
Hey. They ain't talking for 1,000 years.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Hey, Sly.
Level and a certain income, then yes, the risk is worth the reward. Once you get to a certain level of income.
Yeah, exactly, man. You know, Tiger ain't gonna be eating beanies and weenies. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Sly, eating beans and weenies and sleeping on his homeboy couch.
Exactly. That's the way I'm at. I get another divorce. I'm on the couch somewhere. I got to call up my homie Tim Brown. I say, Tim, I need a spot, bro.
Hey, Sly, look, with all that you said about Tiger giving up half, in 2019, Tiger was still worth $800 million. Since 1996, Tiger has earned $1.5 billion. He ain't worrying about that 250. Does it hurt? Yeah, but it doesn't hurt, like you say, as much as it is. Your back gonna hurt when you're sleeping on that last futon.
Hey, that's Tiger just gave a sponsorship away.
Huh?
He just gave a sponsorship away. That's all.
Yeah, he just sponsored somebody. That's all he did. A tax write-off.
That's all. A little tax write-off, man.
Yeah. Tiger say I'm worth 800 million.
So
with
why
that, I would have been worth 1.2 billion. So
why
I'm all right.
Get married? If you've gotten to such a level and such a status to where money can pretty much get you out of anything, why even get married or stay married? Just be single.
Well, you need somebody to rub your back every now and then.
Oh, because guys want to have their cake and eat it too, regardless of their income. I understand.
Well, yeah, as long as you're in that kitchen with your shoes off, yeah, that's exactly what we want.
Well,
cake and eat
for a certain billion amount of dollars, I'm not going to be in nobody's kitchen with my shoes off.
Well, you can put your high heels.
Nanny and what to do.
Hey, for all I give a damn, put your high heels on, or your Louis Vuittons, or your Balenciaga. I don't care. Get your ass in the kitchen. I mean, it's simple. If I'm making that kind of money, you wouldn't back talking. You get in that kitchen.
Okay. Is it okay if wife to cheat as well?
If you want,
if she want to have that Mr. Big, this is Mr. Big. What the hell is going on?
Hey, have to tell her the same thing like Ted Cruz. Just don't get caught.
Hey, man, you better not get caught.
Okay.
But just know you got a track on that phone you using and that car you driving. So as soon as you park in this, what? Yeah, Sly House. I'm headed to Sly House.
I'm coming over here. I got to find out what is happening.
Exactly. What is going on?
What really happening in this place, man? You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so double standards and having your cake and eating it too. Got it. Okay.
But that's been for life. That ain't something that just changed on this podcast.
Exactly.
No, I mean, I'm not saying it changed on the podcast, but we're talking about Tiger, and I'm gaining that you all are saying because he makes enough money. Who cares about his indiscretions?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he can cover it up. That's all I'm saying. I'm simply saying the man had enough money to cover it up. And he shouldn't have got caught in the first place.
Did he cover it up?
Yeah, he didn't cover it all the way up.
Okay.
Yeah, and see that goes back though to Tiger being the geek.
Right, Sly. He ain't used to that.
Yeah, he listened to some of them voice messages. He left. I'm like, yo, Tiger. Come on, bro.
Come on. He didn't understand the power he had behind Tiger Eldridge Tiger Woods. Now you don't see Mike and all them boys that's used to that getting caught up like that.
Sure, I'd be willing to bet that LeBron doesn't get caught ever.
LeBron. LeBron's are great. You watch your mouth.
Oh wait, look for clarification.
Are we finished or are we done? Are we finished or are we done? You watch your mouth about the LeBrons.
For clarification,
We don't cheat. Black men don't cheat anyway. Tiger ain't all the way black. Black men don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat.
Tiger is combination.
That's what he claimed. That's what he is. He's other.
Blasphemy is going on this podcast for you all to say that black men don't cheat. That's hilarious.
No.
Black men don't cheat. You can't point no black man out on this podcast that cheat.
Never.
You can cut that out. You would not paint that false narrative about black men on the RIP 28.
I did not say that black men cheat. That is not what I said at all.
Do you hate black people? Is that what
Just because you're from a ritzy neighborhood, you don't hate black. Do you see who that is? That's Malcolm X. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
She has been corrupted by the white man at the.
No, my father is a black man. All of my brother-in-laws are black men. Most. I mean, I love a black man myself. I'm not saying all black men cheat. I'm just saying that sometimes black men get sloppy and they get caught along with white men. It's a male thing. It's a gender thing, not a color thing.
Black men.
What? That is a false narrative about men in general. We don't cheat.
Sister,
Crazy.
sister, the white man has told this in order to break up the black family. That is what's happening, and you are falling into the trap of the white.
That's what it is. You
That's
kill
right.
the head, you kill the body. They're killing off the black man.
Huh.
Hey, welcome to
Don't you see it?
welcome to the last day of Black History Month.
Don't you see it? Get your hands off my pocket.
And speaking of traps that the white man is set, man, let's move on and talk about this vaccination, man. How y'all feel about COVID vaccination? Is it a trap? Is anybody gonna take the vaccine for COVID-19?
Not unless I necessarily have to, and I can't get employment any other way.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it.
You gonna take it?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. My mom and them took it. Yeah.
I
We all going together.
Like people that are over 60 and have like the underlying conditions, diabetes, hypertension. I can understand why they're hopping on the bandwagon of vaccinations. They don't really have a lot of room to play around with it, but I don't think I'll be getting the vaccination.
Let me tell you, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go.
Trials, we have some real data about it. Yeah, no, because I'm previously in pharmaceutical sales. It takes at least 2 years sometimes to have effective clinical trials that actually provide results.
Takes 2 years. And
it can take up to 2 years, yeah. Because you have to think about it. You have to try the people that are pregnant, based on like certain prescriptions they're taking, their blood type. There are just all sorts of factors that go into how the vaccine is going to affect your body. And if you don't have any clinical trials to back up what happens to this particular class and how it affects their body, you're pretty much just like walking on the wild side and just going to see what the fuck happens once you take it. No.
Hey, Brittany, you eat McDonald's?
Do I eat McDonald's? Yeah. No, not anymore. I used to, but not anymore.
Why you don't eat it no more?
It's just not good for you. But my kids eat it all the time. There's just no nutritional value for me.
So wait a minute. So we've established that you don't care about black men. Now you say you don't care about your kids either?
I'm saying that they're younger than me. They're more like active than me. Like they're just different body types. I mean, they can handle the calories and the bullshit. I probably shouldn't.
I didn't know Brittany was so much hate in her heart. Oh,
nothing but hate.
Is it hate or is it just being real?
Ooh.
Gotcha.
It's interesting, man, because one of these things about the vaccine, I'm kind of on the fence. Because I do play-by-play and color commentary for sporting events. A lot of times I'm somewhat close to some of these. They're going to start opening up these gyms again, and so that means I'm gonna have people around me. So I'm kind of nervous about that. But obviously we're joking around earlier about being black, but our people, we do have a history. We do have a history of distrust when it comes to the medical field and stuff like that. So I'm kind of a little hesitant on taking that vaccine and a lot of stuff. Let me tell you something about what they're doing in New York, and I'm not quite sure if it's like this nationwide, but I have a good friend of mine. She's a nurse in New York, and the place where she is, they offer the vaccine, but you have to, reserve your spot. You have to get on the list. And once they have a setup, where you come in and starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, they have a list of, everybody has an appointment. They can go in and they can take the vaccine. Now, some people are going to miss their vaccine. They're going to miss that time and they're not going to be able to take the vaccine. Well, at the end of the day, at 5 o'clock, whatever they have left over, they throw it away. They don't give it to anybody. They don't do anything. They just destroy the leftovers. And now I was asking, I said, well, that don't make sense. I said, well, why don't you just have a bunch of people at 5 o'clock, hang around the store, and if they have a few left over, just give it first come, first serve. And she says if that was the case, it could lead to a lot of fraud and corruption and stuff like that. And I just find out.
There already says something about the incubation period.
Mm-hmm.
If they're only leaving these vaccines or these injections out for a certain number of hours, that means that it's only been studied that the incubation period is only 8 to 10 hours. So after that, it's probably at a high risk for contaminants. So they can't just give it to anyone because it's already been out for that 8 to 10 hours. And that is why I say we need to wait on case studies to make sound decisions, because whoever told you that was speaking to someone who wasn't previously in pharma and probably didn't hear that. But as soon as you said that, I'm like, okay, the incubation period for this vaccine is 8 to 10 hours. After that, you got to throw it away.
Mm-hmm. Well, my thing is, let's say the incubation period is 8 to 10 hours. 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying? That's your 8 hours. You still got 2 more hours, and you have all of these extra vaccines there that you can inject somebody with in those 2 hours. But she was just saying that
it's risky.
No, not risky. She wasn't saying the health risk of them, injecting the vaccine. She was saying the corruption factor is the problem. She was saying that
they might hold some the vaccine for somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you got a doctor, you got the doctor who's inoculating these people, and this doctor says, okay, I had 3 people didn't show up. I'm going to give it out at 5 o'clock. It's known at 5 o'clock. We're going to go first come, first serve and give out these 3 vaccines. Well, that doctor or that staff can say, okay, well, we're going to give them out to the 3 highest bidders. We're going to give them out to the 3 people with the most money.
It's always going to be about the bottom dollar. That's always going to be the final say, the bottom dollar.
But right now it's not, though. Right now, supposedly, it's about the people who fit that stage, that criteria. Like they start off, if you're a senior or you're an essential worker, you have first dibs on the vaccine. That's what it's supposed to be.
So let me tell you, I was listening to a show the other day. They was talking about in DC. They got the wards in DC, different wards. I think like the 2nd ward of DC is the poorest ward in DC. 8th ward is like the richest ward. It's Chevy Chase neighborhood area. It said that they was only giving the vaccine out in Ward 2, the poorest ward in DC. But all of Chevy Chase was in Ward 2 taking the vaccine. You know what I mean? And the people in Ward 2 didn't know about the vaccine. It wasn't published to them or the communities that it was in. But in the like Facebook community page, whatever, in Chevy Chase area, they were saying Ward 2 has vaccines. Make sure you make your way down. So that's the money knowing where to get the stuff done. You know what I mean? Where the poverty area is not known.
And it's 2 ways you can go about that. Me personally, if I take the vaccine, I'm going to the white side of town to take the vaccine. I don't know what they're injecting on the black side of town.
But the white people coming to the black side to get it.
And that's another thing. If you live in the hood and you start to see a whole bunch of white people come to your neighborhood, you might want to follow.
And matter of fact, my mama just said the same thing. When they went to go get theirs, they said they were the only 2 black. My mom and my daddy, the only 2 black people in there. And they, you know what they said?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, oh, you got all these white folk over here in my neighborhood. Let me go and see what they got going on over here. You know?
Let me follow.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting, man. What we'll do with this vaccine and stuff to go around, man. Because honestly, man, I do want everybody to get vaccinated. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be one of the last rounds to get vaccinated. I'm gonna wait. I want to make sure none of y'all grow a 3rd arm or nothing like that. I'm gonna wait, but I want the world to get back to normal as fast as possible, man. I want to be back out here in these streets, man. I want to be back out here having, unprotected sex. I won't go back out here. I'm scared to go back out there because of COVID. I need to get back out in these streets, man. But and because I live in Atlanta too, man, and fools in Atlanta, they act like COVID never happened. They out in the streets, they out in the clubs, and I'm like, yo, I can't be around y'all, man. I don't want to catch nothing, man, you know? So I want everybody to hurry up and get themselves straight so I can get back in these streets. Get back in these streets, man.
Ain't nothing in the streets, man.
Yeah, you know.
Tell them, Ty.
I just want to be able to read at least one case study before I take the vaccine. Like literally just see how it affected people literally from inception to now and just kind of read about it. I'm sure there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know, and you probably won't know until there's actually a completed case study.
I would think that this vaccine has been around a lot longer than they've actually published it. I'm from the mindset, my conspiracy theory makes me believe that this was a type of germ warfare. You know, this was some type of germ warfare that kind of got out and didn't work the way it was supposed to work. And so anytime you create some type of germ warfare, while you're creating it, you're also creating a cure to go along with it. So, you know, I'm pretty sure the vaccine has already been out, but it just needed some time to perfect it and test it and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure those tests are already there. So I'm more concerned about who's getting the vaccine and who's getting the placebo. You know what I'm saying? You know, who's getting the real thing and who's just getting the stick in the arm. So that's what I'm more concerned about when it comes to the vaccine. So I think it's probably the vaccine that they are injecting is probably real. It's probably true. But who knows? Who knows? Oh, well. Hey, man, we are running close to time. We're running real close to our time. So we're going to have to hold off for a little bit and go on, head on out, man. Any I guess, man, I want to start off, Brian. BZ, man, you got anything to say before we get out of here?
Hey, man, stay safe, stay up, keep your head up, and let's get through this thing and kind of get back to normal as quickly as possible. And, hey, that's about it, man. Stay safe in them streets.
What about you, Todd? Anything you want to put out here, Todd, before we go?
Hey, same thing like LB says. Stay safe out here. You know, they done lifted the restrictions, so the last call ain't 11 o'clock no more. Still don't try to make the last call. Be safe. All right, that's it.
And last but not least, man, we want to thank our guests. We want to thank Brittany for coming on and talking to us, man, just spending a little bit of time with the brothers here on the RIP 28 podcast. We want to thank Brittany for coming out. Now, Brittany, we know you do your real estate. Is there anything you want to say? Give your number out. Tell the people, tell our fan base. We got a big fan base. They love us out here. They see my picture. They say that boy is sexy. I like the RIP 28. You got a lot of fans out here. Anything you want to tell them before you get out of here, Brittany?
I mean, no, I'll probably just kind of second what, everybody else is saying. For me, I mean, it has nothing to do with real estate. It's just in your group text, whether you're choosing to get vaccinated or not get vaccinated, or if you're choosing to cheat on your wife or not cheat on your wife, whatever it may be, just ask yourself, is the risk worth the reward? Like, that's a great question to ask yourself before you make any decision. So.
Good stuff.
Words of wisdom from Brittany. Well, it has been another great episode here on the RIP 28 podcast. Man, we want to thank all our watchers, all our listeners. Make sure you click the like or subscribe. Make sure you do all that. Like I say, if you don't click like or subscribe, that probably means your mama didn't raise you right. And that's basically what that comes down to, man. We are the RIP 28 podcast. We're a podcast where a few friends can get together and we talk about a few things. Some of those things you might like, some of those things you might not like, but we're going to keep on talking here on the RIP 28 podcast.
Freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're into me, hope you
understand I am not your enemy. No,